What is up, YouTube? This is Carl here. It's another cold evening, but gotta work on the car. I have about roughly like 10 days until my event at Horse Teeth Mile, so I gotta get to work. There's a couple things I want to do today. We'll see if I get to it. It's kind of late already, but whatever. You know, it is what it is. So we're gonna try to get as much done as we can. But first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you what I'm doing. Okay, so far what I have done, I actually mounted the front bumper so that can be checked off. Ultra angle kit, I'm actually not going to be doing that. I said I was going to do that in the previous video, but it turned out to be kind of expensive. I decided not to go that route. I'm just going to order more spacers for the front, that way I can get the fitment how I want it. I basically just zip tied it to the fender right here. Everything else is pretty loose. It's not the best, but it'll do for now. Ride height is pretty much finalized for the most part. So I ended up taking out, I think it was like a couple collars on the driver's side. Yeah, I took out 2 collars, and for the passenger side, I took out 1 collar, and it's pretty much just all the way down. It's tucking a little bit of tire, but not really that much. By the way, I'll show you guys the fitment later on. The car's still currently jacked up, so I can't show you the final fitment, but ride height is finalized for the most part. So what I want to try to get knocked out today is modify the control arm, which I'll be showing you guys, and I want to do trailing arm bushings. I want to install those. I'll show you guys those in a bit. Also, I have an appointment for West End, so that is, I think, on the 14th. Yeah, it's on the 14th, so I have an appointment for that, and we're gonna get that going. So the issue that I'm having right now is I have too much camber in the rear, but my control arms are pretty much maxed out for the most part. Well, obviously I kind of messed with it a little bit, but this was pretty much maxed out, and this was pretty much maxed out. So I have about 2.5 to 3 degrees of camber in the rear. Definitely want to dial that out down to about 0. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to cut off 1/2 inch on both the control arms. Oh, by the way, these are Rogue Engineering control arms, so shout out to them. I decided to do it on the inboard end because they advertise the thread pitch on these rod ends. This whole tube is pretty much hollow. It's an aluminum tube, so I have some titanium nitride taps, which shouldn't be a problem, but only a section of it is threaded, so I need to go a little bit more, however much I need, in order to get these threaded all the way in, because these are actually pretty long. They probably go about to like right there. So chop off 1/2 inch, and that should get me all the adjustment I need. Now the only issue with that is I'm a little bit scared that my toe isn't going to be able to go in spec. I guess we'll see what happens. Last time I went, car was a little bit higher. I got as little camber as possible. I was only able to toe out, a little bit hard to understand, but I was only able to toe out to 1/16 inch toe in. So I was pretty much maxed out at 1/16 toe in. So I'm hoping that because I'm cutting off part of the control arm, it'll bring the wheel inwards and then it'll give me more adjustment for toe, but I guess we will see what happens. Nobody makes modified brackets for the rear trailing arm bushing, so we're just gonna have to wing it and we'll see what happens. Enough talking, let's get to work. I got my miter saw over here. Let's start cutting this before the neighbors start getting mad. Couple burrs, shouldn't be too hard to fix. I actually cut off 3/4 of an inch because 1/2 inch looks a little small. So, I mean, these guys are pretty long, so it's not too big of a deal. I'm not worried about it. I have a lot of adjustment on the turnbuckle end, so got my 5/8-18 tap. Gonna put this in here, and we're gonna clean up these threads, and we're gonna pray to God that these rod ends thread in. Come on, baby. So it fits. Now I just want to remove this and just paint this in, just because. Alright, both ends are done. Well, I gotta paint it. but they're tapped. Not the best threads in the world, but they will do the job. What the hell is that? Cricket. Anyways, they'll get the job done. Pretty excited to see how these turn out. So while we're waiting for that paint to dry, let's go ahead and open this package from Syncro Design Works. Great. Oh well. Alright, would you look at these babies? So, I did end up getting the tool to take off the old rear trailing arm bushings and install the trailing arm bushings. So, these are pretty cool. I borrowed it, so I do need to return it back to them once I'm done. This is a really nice piece. Syncro Design Works. These guys are a spherical bearing with some sealed rubber ends. Can't turn it, but these are going to allow for more aggressive alignments. Obviously, since I'm going to be pretty lowered, I'm going to be tucking tire in the rear. I want as much, not necessarily movement. These guys provide solid, like a solid feel. Obviously, it's a spherical bearing, it's a monoball, whatever you want to call it. But it's going to allow for a lot more movement than the traditional bushing. So, nice stuff. Can't wait to put these on. It's getting late. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it today, but we'll see, I guess. They also provided kind of an instruction manual on how to take out the old trailing arm bushings and how to install some new ones. I mean, obviously you could look up this stuff on YouTube, but it's nice to have something like this. Thanks, Syncro Design Works. Alright guys, so I just got the control arms on. It took a little bit longer than expected, actually quite a bit longer. And not really, I knew it was going to take long, but I was really ambitious. But I'm not going to be doing trailing arm bushings today, so we're going to save that for tomorrow. But what needs to happen next, I need to take the car off the jack stands, make sure everything's good to go. I need to check my camber, and once I do that, I can make my adjustments. Then I need to take a measurement for the wheel clearance to the fender, that way I can get the right spacers, and I can get those ordered ASAP because I have maybe a week, so I need to get them to come in. Once that's all settled, hopefully tomorrow we could do trailing arm bushings. We'll see. I gotta get going on this because I don't have much time. So what I want to do next, I'm gonna show you guys how the fitment turned out, or not the fitment, but like kind of the final-ish ride height for the rear. Alright, what do we got here? It's pretty damn close to 0. This side is, I think it's a little negative on this side. So I need to make my adjustments, I need to take some measurements, and we'll be good to go. It's not low. I wish it was lower, but whatever. Actually, it's not even settled. Usually I'm tucking a little bit of tire. I guess we'll see what happens. What I'm gonna drive the car around really quick, just to make sure that the suspension is settled. I'm gonna take my measurements for the alignment, for the rear camber, really, maybe the front camber too. Did it get any lower? Yeah, it got lower. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my angle finder. It's right here on my phone. I had a different one, like an actual digital one, but it just broke right now, so I need to use this. It's not the most accurate thing in the world, but it'll do the job. It'll get me by until I get my alignment done. It's actually pretty spot on. Maybe about half a degree. This thing sucks. Let's call that good enough. And let's do the other side. This one has a little bit more negative camber, so what I'm going to do, just to be on the safe side, I'm going to dial both of them down to positive-ish camber. Alright, car's all jacked up. What I'm going to do, I'll show you guys really quick. I'm going to take another measurement. So I know that I have about like a half degree of camber on each side. So I'm actually going to pull out my angle finder again. But really what I need to know is how much I need to change it. That's what matters the most. So roughly 87.5. So I need to get this down to, what is it? 87. That's why I need to get it down to on this side. So I put my old ESRs back on. These are my rears. I had them off for quite a while, but I figured these tires are kind of old, so I just want to use these as my daily really quick. But turns out it pokes out just a tad bit more, and I took a measurement. Looks like I'm gonna need about a 15mm spacer in the rear, and I also measured the front. Fronts I need about a 10mm spacer. Actually, I think this is the first time I'm showing you guys. Let me show you guys really quick. So that's where I'm at in the front now. I'm tucking a little bit of tire, just barely. Oh, by the way, did I tell you guys? I got some new tires in the front. They're 225/35 Federal. What are these? 225/35 Federal 595s. Just regular 595s. They're not the RRs like I used to have. So I'm gonna have quite a bit less grip. But I wanted to try it out, see if I could tuck tire in the front. Alright, so I'm gonna be getting my spacers from motorsporthardware.com. I already have extended studs, so I just need the spacer. So I need a 15mm. So I need some of these guys, and I need some 10mm. Let's go ahead and order these bad boys, and then hopefully these come in time. Alright, so I think that is it for this episode. I got a little lazy. I'm gonna call it a night. I was gonna do rear trailing arm bushings, but I'll do that another day. We'll see. I'm procrastinating at this point. So I ordered the spacers. That's done. Alignment. I was really only concerned about camber. Rear camber is pretty much good for the most part. Front camber is pretty much good for the most part. So we're gonna go ahead and check that off. I'm not too worried about that. What else? We did modify the control arms, so that's awesome. So really my priority right now is trailing arm bushings and outer control arm bushings, which I should be able to knock out in a day. What else do I have? What's in alignment? So that I do have an appointment for. And install the over fender, which that's not too bad. I still have to duct tape the old OEM fender, so that's not a big deal. What is a big deal though, which I totally forgot, I don't have a gas door because I need to cut all this stuff out. So that's not a really big priority. I mean, I could knock that out in a day, but that's not as bad as having to do suspension work, so that should be no big deal. I'm just taking an angle grinder and a Dremel and then slowly cut that out. I do have an E46 M3 gas door though, which I could put on. The M3 gas doors have a little bit of a curve when it gets towards the bottom right corner. Anyways, thanks for watching guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch you guys next time.